To Mexico, which has a new president and the first ever woman to hold that top job. Claudia Sheinbaum was sworn in a ceremony in the capital Mexico City. The city's former mayor is promising to continue the populist policies of her left-wing predecessor. Although Sheinbaum won a landslide victory this year, she faces a number of challenges now she's actually in office. Chief amongst them, Mexico's rampant gang violence.
Claudia Sheinbaum's presidential win in June was historic.
For the first time in 200 years, a woman has reached the presidency.
Sheinbaum has been involved in left-wing politics for decades and never far from her mentor and later Mexico's president, Andrés Manuel López Obrador. His support has been crucial for her political career. Sheinbaum faced some big challenges during her term as mayor of Mexico City, including a fatal train crash in 2021. During her 4.5 years in office, she was credited for a fall in the murder rate, but a record number of people went missing. Mexico is facing big challenges, including a budget deficit that's the highest since the 1980s. Since winning the presidential election, Sheinbaum has promised to reduce it by half this year. But she's also committed to continuing her popular predecessor's expensive welfare policies.
We will dedicate the public budget to ensure all the social programs created by President Andrés Manuel López Obrador, as well as the other programs that we're committed to.
And that's not all. López Obrador's decision to allow voters to elect all judges has proved extremely controversial. Critics warn it will make it easier for politicians and organised crime to influence the judiciary. So far, though, Sheinbaum has pledged to stick with it. This woman may be Mexico's first ever female president, but it looks like this man, her mentor, has left her with little room to really bring in the change some have hoped for.
Jason Marczak is Vice President and Senior Director at the Atlantic Council's Adrian Aged Latin America Center. Welcome to DW. Claudia Sheinbaum's election created a lot of firsts. First woman, first Jewish person to lead Mexico. But as the anointed successor of the outgoing president, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, I guess we shouldn't expect radical changes from her.
Well, I think President Sheinbaum will be her own president. She is a climate scientist. She spoke today in her inaugural address about energy efficiency, renewables. As head of government of the city of Mexico, she focused on bringing greener bus lines to the city of Mexico. So I expect this new focus on the environment as part of her formation as a climate scientist. But she also talked about the importance of economic cooperation with North America, as well as tackling security, and above all said that she will be a president that will bring together Mexicans.
On security, from outside Mexico, it can often look as though the country's biggest problem is the fight against the powerful drugs cartels. Does the new president have more pressing concerns?
Well, security is obviously a top concern in Mexico. Other concerns are things like day-to-day issues, things like energy efficiency, she mentioned in her inaugural address, water issues, as well as, of course, the continued flow of migrants that come through Mexico on the way to the United States, as well as looking at the future of trade with the United States and Canada as part of the North American deal, and what the review period will look like for the USMCA agreement.
And what does she do about this intractable security problem, this intractable cartel problem?
Well, the cartel problem has been different presidents of Mexico have tried to face the cartels in different ways. When President Calderon was head of government, he had a policy where he really tried to tackle the cartels head on. President Lopez Obrador had a different policy insofar as trying to bring those affiliated with the cartels more broadly into society. President Sheinbaum has spoken today about her focus insofar as making sure that the judicial system works more efficiently, works more effectively in order to be able to tackle some of the security concerns that Mexico has. And of course, as president, one of her first tasks will be implementation of the constitutional reforms that were passed just as President Lopez Obrador was on his way out.
There was a big outcry recently at President Lopez Obrador's attempts to try and change the way Mexico's judges are appointed. This is a policy that President Sheinbaum seems to be committed to seeing through. Where are we on that?
And she has to be committed to seeing it through because, it's passed the Mexican chamber, it's passed the Senate, it's in the process of being ratified by the Mexican states. So she will then be tasked with implementation of the reform. And there is some wiggle room insofar as how actually she does so, but there are certain constraints on that. Most importantly, the fact that this reform allows for the Mexican people to directly elect their judges. This has been a reform that's generated some concern among some, both in Mexico and internationally as well. And she used her inaugural address today to say that she expects that over time, all will be convinced of the importance of this reform.
Good talking to you. Thank you for talking us through that. Jason Marczak from the Atlantic Council.
Thank you so much.